Gemini. So it's like interview with the signs, Gemini, Nikki. And I didn't remember I wrote this, but we just opened up my book and seen it today. And it was like Gemini, Nikki, ask personal questions. And then it says, do you feel that you hide behind sarcasm? And I was just
I'm
like,
not sarcastic at all.
and I was like, I didn't mean to be that invasive and direct and intense in that moment when I wrote it, but also like, you know, that's just what it was. And that's just what it needed to be. So now we're here, almost a year later, but we're doing it. And
I feel like we didn't see each other for like 8 months of that out of that year because you know the whole
like
world 2020
thing,
yeah.
the whole world.
2020 just decided to like skip over. Time for reflection to like clean house in a way, like literally in a way, because that's all I can do is like clean my house, like declutter, get rid of everything.
That's awesome. That's something that, you know, not everybody can do. Like me personally, I have a hard time with letting things go physically. Like metaphysically, I'm like, all right, get it out of here. Like cut cords,
like,
what ritual I'm doing, but like, yeah, like
tangible. It's like we
material
like
things,
tangible things we can hold.
And it won't even be anything because I don't really care about like the actual material thing. It's the memory that's invoked within it. You know, I'm birthed from 2 hoarders. You know, and they weren't like make a TV show about it, hoarders, you know, but both of my parents were like definitely hoarders in 2 different ways. I didn't realize it until I got older. I just thought that everybody had a lot of stuff, you know, but my dad was like super, super organized with it. Not that my mom wasn't, it was just a little bit more obvious for me, especially because me and my mom moved a lot. So in the process of moving, you see the accumulation, you see the different apartments you live in, the different sizes, and you're like, oh, wow. Why do we have such random things, you know? And just having the compassion with understanding why people do that, and then also realizing like there's a certain point in time where I'm like, am I like a spiritual tool hoarder? Like, why do I have so many like things? Like, why do I have so many different like tools in that way?
I have so much. I feel like it's like, for me at least, I feel like I'm always seeking to fill more. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's like, in a way, it's like a little bit of a delusion. Like, if I get this deck of cards, if I get these crystals, if I get this, if I get that, I'm going to feel so much better, when it's like the real, like, tool is inside yourself. Mm-hmm. Like, that's your biggest tool.
Without a doubt. And it's like all the things that we get are just reflections of what's inside of ourselves. So it's like, yes, it could be utilized as like a good invocation. Like, oh, okay, like I get these decks, right? I have these different cards. And this in particular is the power of surrender cards. So it's like, I'm the one who has to surrender. These cards are not doing shit. Like they're telling me, they're reminding me, of course. But if I give all the power to the cards, like I don't know what I can or will do until the cards tell me. The cards are just gonna play me because that's myself. It's a reflection of myself. So it's like
what you see.
Exactly.
Or what you want to see. Sometimes like there's things that it's like I'm seeking to look for something, and it's just like I'll bend whatever it's supposed to, what I want it to be.
Oh yeah, but being completely biased. That's why it's really hard to read your own cards.
Oh, so
like, without a doubt, it's so good. It's like, I know so many times I'm like pulling cards like. Specifically the traditional tarot, when you're pulling cards from here, there's been so many times, so many like toxic situations. I'm like, you know, in this long-term toxic relationship, I'm like pulling a card like, okay, well, what should I do? I know damn well I should get out of it. I know I should break up. I know it's bad. It's like shit hit the fan. Everything's burning. And I'm like, all right, well, what should I do? Okay. It's like literally, boom, perfect example. It's like, like the 10 of Swords, for example. If you look at this card, you don't really got to say much. You don't really have to understand anything different than what it is. Let's see if it can focus in there real quick. All right, well, essentially, if you can't see it clear, it's a person dead on the floor with 10 knives in them. And it's like, I'd look at that and I'd be like, oh, I just need to take a nap.
Yeah, dude.
I'll think about it after I wake up from that nap, because you get biased. You're like, no, I don't want to do it.
All that pain.
It's like it's so funny how that happens.
I like how these cards are very colorful.
Yeah, this
like,
is
look
a
at
really
this
cool
subtling
deck.
of like, it looks like the stars, but like the sunset, like something is setting.
Everything's melting into
like,
each other, and I have always had like this weird obsession with melting things, like things melting. I don't know, it's like a thing.
It's like a thing.
It's like a thing that I enjoy. I just really like when things melt into other things.
I need things
Sounds
to
weird
melt.
saying it outside my head.
Like, I don't know if you're, like, talking about, like lighting things on fire or,
yeah,
like,
that too,
melting
but
crayons
like
together.
maybe, but it's like just like art wise, like every time I've ever drawn, painted, or anything, I always make things melt into each other, or I'll draw melting things. Even in my tattoo, I have a whole bunch of
Like,
this
blending. That's how,
melting.
like, this is. Like, I had to get watercolors to blend.
Yeah.
And the guy's like, watercolors are gonna fade. I was like, yeah, and I'll get it done again.
Well, that's cool.
I was like,
That's
"It's
cool
alright."
too. That's like a nice blend. I feel like that's like even neater in a sense. I feel like the what I like is the drips, like the drips in things. Like even like in my arm, I'm like, I don't know. I can't. It's too much. I'm sorry, guys. It's like up here is like a lot of dripping into like.
It's on your Instagram. It's alright.
I don't know if it's zoomed in. I can't do it right now. It's too many layers. But yeah, like it's like the actual drips of like this. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's something about it. It just does it for me.
The drips.
But yeah, the drips.
The melting.
Yeah.
Dripping away.
Yep,
Like
yep.
something's dripping out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like letting go. Like
Yeah,
you're
I mean-
holding on and it's just slowly releasing, letting go.
Yeah, I love watching candles. Like when you light a candlestick,
I like
and
the
you wash them.
colored layer.
Oh, you know the white ones? I have all the different ones. That one's cool. That one's cool.
I used to be
And it's like,
obsessed
thank
with
you,
candles.
Lori. I appreciate. Thank you for understanding what I mean. But yeah, like it's another Gemini, by the way.
Oh,
Lori, who just
Why
spoke
do-
because there was like a comment. You see that? You see? I didn't have to say much more.
Gemini.
But yeah, it's like y'all just see it. Check
It's just that word, like Gemini game. Like
boom.
all Geminis know it.
They
It's
know it. They're like, oh, a Gemini speaking. Let's tune in right now.
let's go,
You know.
Gemini.
It's like my Gemini Mercury always attracts that, and it's just because the way I communicate. I don't know what your Mercury is, but we got to look at your
Gemini.
chart. I wouldn't be surprised if it is, but I think you're just saying that.
No,
Right
it is. It
For
is.
real?
I did it on.
I know your rising is Gemini. No, yeah.
I think it was
Your sun? Your
what
moon
was,
is
It
Aries.
was something calf.
What?
The website was something calf. I forgot what
Oh,
it
Cafe.
was.
Astro Cafe.
Yes, I did it
Yeah.
on there with Brie.
Yeah.
I think it was Brie. I might be lying about that part.
Okay. I mean,
know.
if it's Bree, she did it on Astro thing most likely. She probably put you on Astro
There was,
Cafe because it's
this
like easier that
app.
way. Yeah,
She
yeah.
has me in there
Uh-huh.
for life.
Oh no, she has a lot of people in there for
I could
life.
just be like, yo, what am I again?
Shout
She's
out
like,
to
yeah,
Bree.
sure.
Bree's the reason. Like she has been like she was a big catalyst for me to like dive deeper into astrology.
I remember.
Yeah, big time. Like I
She,
literally.
like, explained it like looking at a piece of paper with like the universe on it.
She
and
didn't
there's
even
no
have
words.
a piece of paper for me. I hadn't seen Bree, so like me and Bree had a mutual friend Liz, and like we knew each other, but we didn't like really hang out like that. And then like when we were at Zen, it was Zen's grand opening, right, years ago, and we're talking, and Bree comes. She's like, "Oh, what time are you born?" For whatever reason, I just had it on deck. I was just like, "Boom." This is the time. She's like, cool. And she tells me that she just opens up the app and she's just looking at the chart, like the pie chart situation, right? And I'm like, well, natal chart. Why am I saying pie? Anyway,
didn't know
I'm
the
hungry.
name.
I'm looking at
I
the
didn't
bread
know
over
the
here.
name.
I'm like, but yeah. So she's like, she's just looking at that, not anything. There's no words. And she's just like talking about my traumas when I was 7 years old. And I was just like, because I always get sus with people when it comes to certain things. Like there's certain things about my life that has been very much so broadcasted, like traumatically. So like I'm always like, oh, okay, like I'm used to like people like knowing certain things, but then like the things that she said, nobody knows. And I was just like, what are the signs? And I literally went and I got them tattooed like the next day.
So you can never forget.
I'll never forget them. And then now it's like, when you unpack, like there's more, right? There's
always more.
sidereal, there's 13 signs. So in sidereal, 13 sign Vedic, I'm a Gemini. You would probably be a Taurus.
I have
Actually,
no clue.
you might
I
still
didn't
be a
dig that
Gemini.
deep.
There's so many things.
There's so
You
many.
still might be a Gemini. I feel like you're
I
just
looked at it.
Gemini.
I was like, "This is so like I wouldn't know how to like digest all of it."
It's a language. You gotta learn.
Yeah.
And then there's dialects in that
You
language.
see, that's why I had Brie because I'd be like, "What
Little
does
Bree,
this
she
mean?"
out here.
And
Yeah,
then
she's
she'll be like,
Bree's
she'll
like,
explain
bet.
it. She'll just explain it.
She'll
I'll
rap
be
it to
like,
you.
"All
That's the
right,
thing. She
all
could
right."
rap it to you. She could say it in many different ways. Woman of
She
many
knew.
mediums.
She knew.
Shout out to Bree.
I miss her. She's good people. Where we go?
No, we're still on live, even though we can't see ourselves.
Oh,
so we're
man,
here. We're
cool.
still going.
I
So
was
we
so
just-
like into looking at myself.
I know it gets really fun, and then Mercury retrograde likes to do this thing where it throws like these wrenches.
I'm like, how's
into
my
the
hair
thing, so
looking? How's
as-
this? Now I gotta like pay attention. Like,
Well, we'll talk right here. We'll talk right
Oh.
here. We'll maintain that.
yeah,
So-
but how am I supposed to avoid things like nonchalant now? Like,
What does
how am
that-
I supposed to be? What's that word? I can't think of it. Dismissive.
Dismissive, I know, but or
Like-
evasive.
But not like I'm not aware that I do it. Like someone could be talking to me and I'll just like change subjects. Like I'll register it.
But like, this is not what
But, like,
in head is like. I don't want to talk about this. I'm just
Yeah.
gonna skirt. Like
There's
I'm
like
gonna head out.
something on that bottom layer that like I don't want to. Like I'm very disconnected this period of my life, and I have no clue if it's like from. I think it might be actually from not being around so many people. Like I don't know how to connect with them on that
Intimate
playing
level.
field. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it's just like I'm so used to being alone and stuff like that. So when someone's like, "Hey, I love you," I'm like, "Yeah, okay, we'll close this guy." Like I'm so like dismissive in that way.
Well, it's
Or,
a protective barrier, and it's like in our minds. Our minds are so like interesting, and our egos, and in the sense of protection, right? It's like we will find these different ways. Like, okay, well, if I don't
Do you
have
wear
intimate
contacts?
yeah,
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, I wear
I never
glasses.
noticed.
yeah.
I
You
never
never see me in my glasses?
I've seen you in your
I can't
glasses,
see shit.
but I
Yeah,
never,
this is my life. I gotta put
I
my eyes
never
on when I wake up.
noticed.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah, I look into your eyes. I pay attention to detail.
Oh, okay. Oh, you're making
Yeah,
up for the
no.
eyeliner thing now? This is what it is? This is
Yes.
what it is? Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
see, I'm noticing. I'm noticing. See, there's a dismissive
Oh, you did! I'm like, you
thing.
did it! You did the thing! You got me too! And you were like,
I'm like, I was glazing
I
deep.
do
I'm
it too.
like,
I
shoot,
know.
got
Yeah, I
that.
was up. Damn it! I was going somewhere with
I
it too.
jumped-
Okay. Oh
My
yes,
bad.
I got it. We're good. We're back. We're back.
happened
We're
was-
back. What happened was protective layers and egos and protection. So it's
so
like.
calm. Like protection layers.
Yeah, well, it's like, we find these different coping mechanisms to protect ourselves. So we're like, oh, okay, if I don't ever actually get deep with a person or actually like feel intimate with a person on that level, even conversational, then I won't be hurt if they're not there, And it's like things like that come up for ourselves. And I notice it even with myself at times when I'll do that or when I have done that. And, and what I do is I just like, I surrender to it when I have in the moment. Cause I'm like, do I want to go deep in a conversation right now? So what am I going to do? Either like submit to what my fear is, or am I going to just surrender to what I actually want to do? And that's like go deeper in a conversation. And then you can go back and forth. And like, you do a great job at it too. You're mad funny.
Like,
we could talk
I'm
about
just, like,
deep ass
bouncing- I
topics.
said that's a Gemini.
And
Like,
it's
we
like-
can't stay on one thing. It's just
But
like
it's
bouncing
good.
off.
I feel like, anybody who listens to my podcast or just has a conversation with me in general knows that I operate in that realm.
and then I'll come back to it.
Exactly.
Like,
It'll come
later
back.
on.
Exactly. That's something that I the last guest that I had on, Justin J. Spades, shout out to him. He
watched
always
him.
said, he's like, you
I
go
watched him.
so
I
far
creeped him.
and then you come back.
Yeah, Justin, I creeped you.
Now you know. Now you
Now
know
you
the
know.
truth. The thing I love that Nikki does is Nikki's like straight up. Like we were on the phone yesterday, and she's like, in 4 years ago of my picture, she's like, I really like the way your braids look in this one, and I'm like, which one? Like, what are you talking about? I'm like, just like it so I know. I like that shit. Like I like when people create my things and tell me about it. Like
Me
say it with
too.
your whole chest. We all do it, but say it with your whole chest. Like okay, I creeped you here. I'll be like, word, I'm on it right now as we're talking. Like you looked great January 7th, 2017.
Yeah. I feel like it should become a social norm, like just where, well, not
Well, people aren't
not,
afraid.
not to like a creepy sense where like
Yeah.
you're stalking it every day or something.
No,
Like-
but just being honest, though, when it
Like-
comes up is very valid and very like, I feel like it's like, oh, well, I don't want to seem not cool. Like, I don't want to, it's like, just shut up.
Why? Like you gotta. I feel like letting people know like stuff like, oh yeah, it creeped you. Oh yeah, like this and that. Oh, I think this is cool. That
I
you
like
do.
it.
I feel like it gives like validation that people don't necessarily need.
Mm-hmm.
It's not like I'm not someone that like feels like I want to pull validation out of someone, but when it comes by surprise,
Yeah, oh, it's
and then
great.
you're like, wow.
It's
I
like,
wasn't
wow, you pay
expecting that.
attention, especially because,
Yeah.
like, I feel like, especially, correct me if I'm wrong, I feel like I could say this about the both of us out of being an observant person. We're both observant people, and we're, like, detail
Besides your
oriented.
eyeliner.
Besides my eyeliner, I mean, you noticed other things, but not my eyeliner, but it's okay. I'll learn to get past it. But, it's like when you pay attention to people, and it's not like you have to have people pay attention in the same way, but it's just nice when
like
it's an
opening
equivalent
that
exchange.
space.
Yeah, it's like,
them.
oh, you care enough to pay attention, just as I care enough to pay attention, and that's cool. It's like, I don't need you to, but that's nice that as human beings, we like to resonate with people, and that's like, we like to have things in common. So when we have things in common, especially like intimate things like that, where it's like things that you do in your own time and space, it's like, wow, like, I feel understood. We all want to be understood. We all want to be acknowledged. That's the reality of it.
So like in today, it's such like this hard shell.
Well, it's a
But then
false
that goes back to
illusion
me
too,
where
of
I'm
like
being like avoidance, everything.
well, it's like a lot of it is like that fake I don't care. It's like, you do care. It's like, we care. We'll say we don't care, but we care.
I feel like the more you say I don't care, it's like the more that
The
person
more you actually
cares.
care. Yeah, it's like,
It's
I
like,
don't
no, I
even
don't
care.
care.
It's
I
like,
don't
I don't even care. I'm having a panic attack about it. It's like, I walk away, but
That
I don't
person's
even
not
care.
even in my mind.
Sometimes, yeah,
Like,
and then we all do it. We're all guilty of it. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just about like being honest about that too when that comes up. Like,
what
about
happened
actually
was
caring.
with that tea.
This tea's pretty good.
It's delicious. I don't know. I just feel
Cherry
like
blossom tea. Cherry blossom and black tea. That's what
I
we're
need
having.
people to like open up more. Like, how do I want to like have mystical powers that I can just like whoosh and people
open up?
feel safe with me. Because I
Oh.
want to give people like that safe space.
Yeah. Well, you have to give it to yourself.
Well, I was going to become a therapist, but then that was way too much school.
It's a lot of school. That's
Yeah.
literally, I felt the same
I
exact
couldn't
way.
pay. I
Yeah,
went- I went to, like,
no.
community
I'm not trying to
college.
learn like all different layers of math to like not utilize it, and
Yeah.
then you just like if college, like if the school system didn't fail us consistently, like at like creating a actual healthy dynamic on or different options on how to do things. Like, I think alternative schools or trade schools are like really where it's at, because you're just focusing on that one thing and not all these extracurricular like situations. Like, I don't want to learn like English and history on shit like that I don't like care about, like when I really want to just like understand the human mind and like
I
give
wasn't
all of
good
my
with
focus to
history.
that. It's like
I wasn't good.
there's sometimes I was good with it when I was like talking about ancient civilizations, and then other than that I didn't really care because
I like
like lies anyway.
culture, but not like the politic history. I was just
like economics, anything that has to do with like American history is nonetheless lies, but like and glorification of like trifling
a textbook
situations.
that was
but
like made in the 1980s.
it's just that's a whole other thing. But
I liked school when I was like probably from pre-K to 5th grade. It was like my golden years.
I don't know if I even liked it then, to be honest. I used
don't
to love
really
talking. I used to
remember
always get.
much.
Did you get moved a lot for talking?
No, I didn't have any friends.
I would always like
Surprisingly,
it.
I
I
was
didn't-
really quiet.
I didn't really have friends in middle school, especially in elementary school. I had some, but like not really. Like, yes and no. Middle school, I didn't have like any friends in my grade at all. But I still talked. I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, you're not my friend, but what video game you play? Kingdom Hearts. Bet. Let's talk about it.
I was never in school for it. Like, I was always like the troublemaker, hanging out at delis, getting picked up for
In elementary
truancy.
school?
Yeah.
In elementary school.
No, I meant junior high.
Okay,
I'm
junior
sorry,
high, me
junior
too.
high.
I literally
My
used to
bad.
go.
Elementary school.
I'm
I
like,
saved
God
it.
damn, Nikki. Oh my God.
No, elementary school was like me playing sick. Like, I don't feel good just to get out of school. Like,
Yeah, same. I'm just not
I
trying
feel like
to.
that's every kid. Like, just to like
Every
stay
kid-
home and play video games.
I know
like,
some
you
kids actually like school. I don't know why, but they do.
Now they can't avoid it. Like, where it's at Zoom.
Everybody has different things that they, I don't know, different ways they operate. Like, even like middle school for me, I would, especially once I hit like 7th grade, forget it. Like, I was not in the school. I was, my
Out.
name would be on the loudspeaker all the time. Like, Ashley Montalto, if you are in the building, please come to us. Like, people would text me like, hey, are you here? They saying on the loudspeaker. at Dunkin' Donuts drinking white hot chocolate, smoking a cigarette. I'm just like listening to my iPod like on shuffle.
Oh
like,
my God, I miss the old iPods.
all
the
the
one.
Oh my God, I remember I had the Nano.
With the game, with the brick
I had the
breaker.
one game. Yes, brick breaker was a thing. Yes, that was it. I had the MP3 player before that though.
Your phone, I want them to bring back the Sidekick.
Sidekick. Nikki,
Bro,
I've been talking about the
snowboarding
Sidekick.
game.
I've been literally, I never had it because I didn't have
I
T-Mobile.
had the, it
I
was
never
like
had
that swoosh.
I had an obsession last year. I went through this whole like Sidekick, which reminds me, I have a flip phone. And like, I'm sorry, T-Mobile, I'll pay for it. I don't know. It's like, I'm like this whole thing.
I want the
I'll pay for
back.
it.
Can we
But,
write them? Can we write them a letter?
there's
like
a lot of
makers?
things like with this whole Sidekick situation that's like I don't know why it's coming up so much.
Like a
But,
slimmer version. I
they
feel like
should
people
do
would
it.
get it. Like that thing dropped so
Absolutely.
many times and it was fine. Like the casing would come off a little bit.
And you
but-
can't even get an old one and have it work because I unpacked this whole thing. It's like the system it used to operate on doesn't operate anymore,
yeah.
and it's like
They changed so much, but they should
I was
bring it
gonna buy
back.
one.
Let's write them a letter and be
I was
like,
gonna buy most
bring
of
back the
2020.
Sidekick.
Most of 2020 was like that was like a weird little like always in the back of my head. It's like I'm like, oh, everything's okay. The world's going. Everything's not okay actually. World's blowing up. All these different things okay. Working 3 jobs okay. But really deep down inside, I'm like, I want a sidekick. I really
sidekick.
want a sidekick.
I do.
I've never had
just
one. I can
like-
buy it now with my own money.
I wish, I could give you that experience of owning a sidekick. But it was like cool. Like you did this weird thing and there was a snowboarding game that was like hidden and like
A
it
hidden
was just
snowboarding
And
game?
no, it was so
That's
weird.
cool.
You had like do so many buttons. It was like a hidden. It wasn't like the game app. Yeah, like press. I don't know.
That's
If
cool.
the viewers know, you know.
Yeah, I don't, but I would love to know. And
How we go into deep darkest secrets to like psychics.
I mean, I feel like isn't the same thing.
My alter ego is my psychic. Are you trying to say like I am my own psychic?
Yeah, yeah, and your own superhero and your own villain.
Ugh,
Dun dun dun.
I don't like that because I'm always battling. Oh my. The battles in my own head drive me crazy. And, like, sometimes it's, like, there's some deep battles where it's, like, well, there's so much going on in my life. But then I fight with myself about, like, what outfit to wear for 2 days.
Yeah.
And I'm always, like, in conflict with myself. Like, if I just moved out of my own way, I'm sure things would be fine. But then a lot of the times, like, I constantly, like you were saying before, like, I know what decision I want to make. But then, like, I'm trying to come up with reason to make the one that I want to make, but not the one that I need to make.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's a difference. What are you staring at?
I was just spaced out, but I'm here.
Yeah,
Like I'm listening
here.
to. I was listening to you.
I'm here, and you're just gazing.
I'm
me.
listening. I was just literally absorbing
You're not
what you were
even
saying.
noticing my contacts. I don't wear contacts. That's how much you know. I wear glasses.
I was just listening. I was retaining what you were saying. I think that's something that a lot of people can relate to. I know I can. Like it's that. Okay, if I could just get out of my way, if I would just literally like let myself live, like, and just stop, like nitpicking and battling every single decision thing that I want to do, and also
I want to live off the land.
I
Like build
completely
a
understand.
community. Like
do it.
buy land.
You should do
And
it.
little shacks everywhere.
Everybody has to wear the scully.
Yeah, I guess if you want to be like a cult
No,
or
we don't gotta be a
something,
cult.
like-
No. I was just saying that because I feel like, you mentioned before the 2 days to figure out an outfit.
It did it not?
And it was like it wasn't
not?
2 days. I think it was like 17 hours.
How many times did I change my outfit?
I think it was 3 times. I don't think it was that.
No, I went to blue to hot
it was
pink.
blue, hot pink.
Purple,
What was that? What was the other pink? Blue, hot
green,
pink, and then there was another
hazmat pink.
Hazmat pink.
I was like,
Blue,
no,
hot pink, hazmat pink, and then the green
green. I don't know where
khakis
that came from.
combo. Yeah, I was like
And
that.
I was just like, oh, I'll wear black, and then I'm like, no, I'm gonna
We
wear
went back
gray
to we went back to
sweatpants.
the blue because the first thing was blue.
I should have trusted my intuition.
Yeah, and I was like, oh yeah, you have a blue long sleeve shirt, and you were like, oh
Yeah, like how do
You're
you know
like-
my lifestyle?
And like
How do you know
I was like,
what's
I
in my
remember
closet?
things.
How do you know I didn't
remember.
fill that out?
I don't know.
How do you know I didn't fill it out? You know? How do you know I still have this?
It was the way you threw the sleeve.
See, but that's like, I like that.
Yeah, exactly, because you're like,
people
wow,
need-
people pay attention, and it's like
Yeah.
I did. I literally, I remembered.
You know where my spare key is?
We'll talk about it off this, maybe,
yeah.
just in case I'm like, yo, if I say something and it's right, I'm like, I don't want to be hella responsible.
Do you know
for
where I
it.
live?
But yeah, it's like, I feel like we did a pretty good job here. I think this, I
like the light.
we got the light, we got the blue. It's a blue kind of day, but like not a sad blue kind of day. Like you said something yesterday. You were like, I
Your
want to wear
voice.
blue because
My voice, my throat chakra.
And you
Speak
know
my
what
truth.
Wednesday is? Wednesday is Mercury Day, which is you.
There's so much mercury in
So
the
much
air.
Mercury,
So much.
mercurial, just all the time. And
When does
it's
this
also-
fade, like, start to fade away?
what, Mercury retrograde?
Yeah.
I think it ends
a
this
lot.
week, but then it also goes into shadow period. So I would say like safely like 3 weeks. Or like 2 weeks. But like it's like shifting out of it. But she was kicking in hyper gear. So
Yeah, she's just not having it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just I don't know. Like I'm not one to normally be like, oh my god, Mercury retrograde. Like I'll acknowledge it. But this is just like yesterday. I'm driving home after like the like this space where I was, like the phones had cut out, like on the whole block, and then I'm driving.
We were on like an hour phone
we're on the
call,
phone.
like,
Yeah,
trying to,
exactly. So
trying to
like,
explain like one more like
Yeah.
everything just went out.
it was weird. And then I'm driving home, and I like look to my left, and there's this like church right by my, like not far from my house, and the whole screen is just like glitched colors. You can't read one word, and it's just like flashing glitched colors. And I was just like, Mercury, you just don't care today. You just don't care. Everyone pissed you
everywhere.
off, like every single person, and you're taking it very personal. And this is just how you feel. And I'm like, you know what? Maybe we need it. Maybe we need it.
Maybe we're
'Cause
in
it's-
a glum slope.
Well, it's like, it's like when the stuff happens, it really gives you a chance to be like everything you say you are. Like this camera in front of us completely shut off. Once we got comfortable with looking at ourselves in this view, and the TV in front of us, it cut off, and it brought us to be present, to be looking at each other.
Or the wall like you were before.
Or the wall. Sometimes you space out. I'm sorry. It's just I was listening
Why
to
are
you.
you being avoidant?
I'm like, I
towards me?
wasn't being avoided. I was just like, I was just spaced out. It happens sometimes. Not spaced out. I was here, but my eyes were just like, you know what happened.
You ever like sit in a conversation, then like your head just like floats around, like you're totally aware of what's going on, but like your head just like, I don't know how to explain it, but like your head just like
Yeah.
floating around, like
Yeah, I mean, I feel
observing.
like that's what happened, but I was also
What
like
happened
planted.
what happened was I was here, but
Back to what had happened.
I was staring at the light switch.
Yeah, no, for real. It's interesting.
What's
Yeah.
on your nose? Is
there
a
something on my
snake?
nose? Oh, my nose. Yeah, it's a snake. I'm like, there's something on my nose.
I forgot about my tea. How could I? How dare I?
I like this tea. I feel like it's a
Where'd
good
you get
one.
it?
Taste buds. Taste buds.
Yeah, I know why it's so tasty. So, what's your deepest, darkest secret?
My deepest.
All right, let's. No, that's too personal. I feel like that's so. That's
Nikki's
so
like,
vague.
I'm not trying to answer that question, so let me reroute this conversation
like-
because this bitch
like
might
this-
just answer it.
This might backfire on me and come back at me. I'm like, dude.
I'm like, it's hard to even think of a deep darkest secret when I don't know. It's like definitely like certainly we're gonna get off this topic, but like it's hard to even think about that when you're
Like
constantly
one.
like one.
Just
Yeah,
one.
it's like we're just one. Also, just like I don't know. I feel like I'm consistently finding these like really deep taboo, weird or what were
Not
said
necessarily
dark things.
secrets, but like
Yeah.
just insights on us. Like you ever just lay there and you're like out of nowhere you remember something
All the
like
time.
you did
All the
5
time.
years ago and you just
Every
have
day.
that like weird
Multiple times a day.
gut feel. Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only
You're
one.
certainly not.
I just saw like I had like I'm like, why did I do that? I'm like, I don't
It's like the
even-
meme when you're like laying on the floor. It's like the kid laying on the floor just looking up at the ceiling. You're just like, having existential crisis
Yeah,
about something you
like-
did in the 4th grade.
Meanwhile, like, I don't know these people anymore.
I think about
like,
things like that all the time, and then I'm like, I used to, hence anxiety, right? Like, I used to talk myself out of doing things all the time. Like, I'm not even gonna lie. Like the other day, yesterday, is the truth. Yesterday, I was gonna go into the store, and
When I say the other day, it could be yesterday, like months from now.
maybe 7 years ago or
Like,
yesterday.
The other day.
I literally, I was helping somebody, and I looked up and I just seen somebody that I knew from like years ago, and I was just
Awkward.
like, I just reversed the car and left. I just wasn't in the mood to like be like, oh, how is life for 10 years? How is
Yeah.
everything? I was like,
God.
but before that happened, I got flashbacks of like a bunch of embarrassing things, and I was just like, this person knows too much. I cannot have a conversation with them right now. I'm not
can't go
equipped. I can't. And that's the scenario thing. Like I just like paused, and I was just like flashback to all scenarios, and I was like, oh no. Like I feel like
This
that always
is-
happens at the weirdest times too, where you'll see people that invoke those things. You'll be like just going to a dentist or something. They'll just be like
I
the
feel like I don't have that problem in life.
the
Like,
dental assistant, and you're just like, here we are.
I lived in Brooklyn most of my life. I moved here 3 years ago, so I don't know anyone. And when I was like 21, I cut my hair. Now I look like a 16-year-old boy, so no one notices me. Like no one knows who I am. I
Good
like
tricks.
change my
You've done-
identity.
You've done good
my new
good
name's
tricks.
Nikki G. Like change my whole identity.
I mean,
you know.
that's.
But
kinda
how is that for
beneficial.
you? Because I
Anxiety.
I never experienced that. Like someone ripping up turmoil, like just like in yourself, like that one.
I am born and
Bringing it
raised
back.
on Staten Island.
So it's a very. I feel
I'm
like
born and
Staten
raised
Island
here.
is like if you know, so, like you know
I've lived
everyone
all
in the
over
South
this. Yeah, no,
Shore, you know everyone in the North Shore. If you're from the North Shore,
I lived
Mid
all
Island,
over the
like,
island, so that's the thing. Like I grew up and always had different groups of friends in all different locations all the time. Like even if I didn't go to a school, I didn't go to Wagner, but I had a bunch of friends at Wagner. I didn't go to Tottenville, but I had some friends in Tottenville. Like I went to Newdart for like 2 seconds. I graduated from Mount Loretta, but I like the
So you
the
know,
work study
like-
program. But yeah, like I know all different and now I have to go to that school, and then people you meet on the bus, and then people from there, and like also I was just like I knew a lot of groups of people, so it's like and Staten Island is so small where it's like you go to the deli, you bump into anybody, you go in the CVS, you bump into anybody. So what I do is like, I just unsee them is really usually my
Like,
MO.
just-
Like I'll see them and I'll just unsee them. Or really great trick for everybody who has glasses. You just take them off.
You told me.
Yeah, you just take them off. Like my thing that I do is I'll go to the mall with my glasses and I'll take my glasses off while I'm walking in between stores. So I literally don't see people. So
Or things you can walk into.
and people would be
but-
like, "Oh my god!" Like, no, I mean, I can see that, but I just can't see people. Like, I can't see their features, right? So I won't see someone. Like, oh
That's
my
why
god,
you
I
didn't
seen
wear
you
your
in the
glasses
mall.
today?
I'm having my contacts in.
I'm just saying.
You I got my contacts in.
I'm just
You
saying.
called it out before you just.
I just like the truth, just like switch. I was like, that's why it's all about me. That's why you want me glasses on today.
Well,
No, you got
Yeah,
your contacts.
no.
You're good. Anyway, you take.
but
off.
people would be like, "Yo, like, why didn't you say hi?" I'm like, I didn't see you. Like, I dead ass didn't. Like, I really didn't. Like, that's not a lie. Sometimes that could be so. Sometimes it's good to bump into people. Most of the times it's not. I'm gonna be honest. But like,
Just like on into that hyperbole.
but like
It's
every
not.
once in a while, like a perfect alignment will happen where you're just in a mood, you're in a space, you can do it, and then you just like sit, you have tea, you're in a place, you're wherever, and it just like I remember this one time, there was this girl that I had seen, and I was in Everything Goes Cafe, and I was like in this huge transition of like mad shit was going on. I just went there to just catch my breath, and like that was like my safe space. So I'd just go find an old book and like get matcha and just like eat a mega cheese or like a soup or whatever it was, and I would just sit by myself. And I seen this girl Christina that's like really sweet, that like I see her every once in a while, and like we just had such a great like meeting, rekindling in that moment where it was just like we didn't really say exactly what was going on in our lives, but even in like the vague terms of that, what we used was like really understood and heard. So it was like really that was an honor, that was a pleasure. Like that was a pleasure to see her.
I was when I was hearing you, because I feel like there's like a difference between listening and hearing someone, you know, like comprehending what they're saying.
Yeah.
I was thinking about times that I did run into people, because it popped up, because I did run into people in Staten Island, but it was only people from the full moon ceremony, so it was like all positive.
Oh, that's great.
It was just like, hey, and it was
That's
like
awesome.
very, very loving, and so like I had no bad experiences with
Yeah.
that. But if I went back to Brooklyn, then I guess it would be a different story. Like,
Yeah. It's interesting because the thing that's weird about the universe is like, I'll never forget this. This happened to me when I was like 7, I would say, like around 7, where I went to Six Flags and I seen a girl that I knew, but I didn't know her like that. I knew her because she would take the bus home with me. Like we were on the same school bus going home, but I didn't know her. I don't know her name. I don't know if I ever did. But I remember she had bangs. She was like much taller than me. And she just always seemed like a sweet girl, and she just like had those bangs that would like kind of be in front of her face, kind of like mine, but like longer or even. Anyway, I'm being like very detailed. So I remember seeing her on the bus, and like we never spoke, but I seen her in Six Flags, and I was like, that's so
Did you make
weird.
friends with her, like on rides?
No. But like I seen her in Six Flags. So like my point is like even though we lived on this like in the same neighborhood, clearly that we were on the same bus, and you know that we like had all these opportunities to see each other and all these like
And
things.
then they pop up.
But I
all
see her in
places,
Six Flags in Jersey. You know, the same day, same time. It was like so interesting. I always remember that because I went to Florida and I seen somebody. I went to other states and seen people I've known. You see who you need to see. Like if you're like that's the thing. If you're trying to avoid or run away from something, either you're gonna see that person, the name of that person, or whatever represents that person, and whatever that person represents with you, because it all goes back to ourselves, right?
It's like love
Everywhere.
songs. That's why I listen to them on repeat.
Yeah, it's like this.
Because I wanna
sad
purge.
enough. Let me hit it 4 more times.
No, it's like I wanna enjoy the song without thinking of that person. Like I don't want them to steal that song.
You're
away
rewriting
from me.
it. I do that
Yeah.
too. Overexposure to something. Like I like
Yeah.
hyper expose myself so that I could be like, nah, you don't own this. I do.
I do, yeah. Like I'll sing it really loud in the car. Like I don't care who's looking at me. Like, and I'll try
should.
like take back that song, because there's so many good songs out there, and then it can be like you guys singing it together in the car that can like
Just
instantly like you put the 2 and 2 together. I'm like, no, I want my song back.
important that you. It's really important. That's a really like awesome thing to do too. It's like not to just like you know.
Dwell on it.
Yeah.
Like, this was also. Oh, this was where we went out to eat.
But when you
like,
feel that, and then you push forward, when you feel like, oh wow, that was our song. But like, say you're in a situation where, you know, you're like, oh wow, this is our song. You're with somebody, or you're not with somebody. Say you're alone, and you feel that like wanting to change it, but then you don't.
unless
there's
like it's a
power in
really
that.
bad song, like
Oh yeah. It's trash. It's trash, you know. But if you like it and then you rewrite it and you give yourself that back, you don't give it away. It's like that's important too. Like you to know when to surrender something, let it go, and to know when to like surrender to something but keep it.
that's
always a
payphone.
surrender.
Payphone, I never liked. I don't know. You want me to start singing it?
Yeah.
I'm on a payphone. I don't know. I forgot who it was, but it was so
On a
sad.
payphone?
Like he was trying to call back home. I don't know. It was just so sad.
What
I'm
sad
just
is
like,
it?
I don't know. We'll Google it after. But I don't know. It was just
curious.
like a song that I just didn't vibe with. And to this day, I'm like, no.
Yeah, I don't know if I've ever heard it.
I don't want to embarrass myself like too much with singing. I tried.
Yeah, no, I definitely interested in hearing what that is.
I think it's from like subconsciously, like someone put that vibe, like someone I didn't like was singing.
they implanted payphone into your psyche.
Because it's like it's
infiltrated.
like I'm not a favor or against the song, like it's just there, but like I have such passion towards it that I don't like.
I understand that,
And I don't know why, and I'm just like, who
Sometimes
did
it could be
this?
harnessed, and sometimes it could be like I find difficulty with that. Like I've been singing a lot like my whole life, but like also like a lot recently.
You have glitter on your face.
Oh yeah, it's Fenty.
Fenty? What's Fenty?
Yeah, shout out to Nicole for getting me the little Fenty highlighter. I've never really had highlighter. It's like a makeup thing.
Like a book highlighter?
It's like a powder glitter thing.
But it's a
Fenty.
highlighter.
It's not like a highlighter like book. Like
What is it? What else is a highlighter?
highlighter is like a makeup term. I'm not that like I know how to apply makeup, but I'm like
So,
not that. I
Is
can't.
it a
It
brush?
highlights. It accentuates.
Is it a
something.
brush?
No.
Is it?
You apply it on a brush. It's like a powder.
It's a
Okay,
powder.
look. Think about like an eyeshadow. Think about like a blush. It's like that, but it's just sparkles, and you put it on a blush brush or like a highlighter brush if you're specific. You know, I have one brush I'd use it for that too, where I'll just go like this.
They really need like remake the names of these. Like I feel
highlight it because it highlights. Like there's like contouring. People contour, and then something highlights.
why can't we just like put it as like popping beauty? Like can we just like
It's sparkles. You just call it sparkles.
yeah, we'll rename it Sparkles.
Yeah.
So you put
Glitter.
sparkles on.
Yeah, I did put sparkles on.
All right.
I was like, I'm gonna do my eyeliner.
Beautiful.
I'm gonna do the sparkles.
See, I noticed the sparkles.
You did notice
Only,
the sparkles.
45 minutes in. But
Nikki's trying to still redeem
Anyway.
herself from the eyeliner thing.
sorry, what were you saying? I'm horrible at this. I have like
You're doing just fine.
I have like I feel like everyone has it like ADD, but it's not.
You're literally
and,
reading
like,
my brain right now.
Like, but it's I feel like it's in us. Like,
Mm-hmm.
just like we're so used to not sitting still anymore. Like we're multitasking all the time. Like on the phone, on the computer, having 3 chats. Like that way, when you're sitting down doing one thing, you don't feel capable of it anymore because it's not normal to you.
It's not.
anymore.
It's literally something that isn't natural because we've consistently taken ourselves out of the present moment. It's like maybe ADHD is simply just not feeling safe within the present moment. So then we've created a coping mechanism to not be in the present moment. And in one way or another, it's almost like it was a source of protection at a point. You know, I would say like we started it when we were younger and the present moment was dangerous for us to be present to, so we had to evade it. And then we now build on that and we have this coping mechanism that we bring from our childhood into our adulthood. And when we start to unpack that, we can be like, all right, well, I feel like just being like, I'm safe to be in the present moment, you know, I'm safe to be present, are really good affirmations to say to ourselves, because it's something I've been unpacking. If you listen to the past 2 episodes, I'm talking about this exact thing.
We avoid. Like I like sometimes I'm just like, oh, something's wrong with me, and then like one of my friends would be like, yeah, you're spiritually sick, and they're like, why don't you work on your spiritual side first, and then see what happens.
How does
with
somebody
your-"
just say that to you though?
No, but they meant it in a good way.
It
Like,
sounds really
maybe-
abrasive though.
Like maybe that like you're not connected with yourself. Like you're looking for outside terms. So like maybe like a spiritual sickness of yourself.
I understand. I feel like, you know, that's a
But-
little
but
abrasive, like to
probably
say
how,
something like that.
They came off by
Well, yeah, but just
that.
being like, yeah, because it's like even like bringing that back up to declare to someone. I feel like, you know, just something, and that's something for everybody.
Like the wording.
Just being present with to declare someone spiritual sick is like, it's like, oh, okay, you have ADHD, you have depression, you have
Yeah.
this, and it's giving you a title and it's giving you a label. Now you're in it, like, and
Yeah,
now
then
you're
you
like,
try to
oh,
like
this.
you like constantly figuring out. So
Yeah.
it was so weird when I was like on my journey to like find a higher power and everything. I was always taken from everyone else and trying to match with what they were and what like they seen in a higher power and
harmonized.
such. But then I didn't like find what I seek in a higher power until I was taken out of like I wasn't so invested in how other people see it so I can match them. You know, like I had to like really see it on my own. So when it comes to like ADHD or whatever, I feel like when people may feel that way or they may experience something where they feel like something's not right or they're not comfortable or something, for me, my best thing is to like sit with myself.
Yeah.
To find it by myself
listen
because
to what that is.
I feel like my intuition's like eventually gonna tell me when I'm ready.
Yeah.
But I feel like I always like try to seek answers. Like if you tell me something I don't like it, I'll seek somewhere else. Like I want someone to like give me the answer that I
That you want.
That's like the
Yeah.
easiest.
But it's superhuman. We all do that. It's just, do we admit it?
I've,
You know? And it's like, so I think it's courageous that you admit it. I think it's courageous that you constantly speak your truth, you know? And I think that that's something that should be valued. And also, like, rather than looking at self as like, I'm spiritually sick, it's just more like, maybe I should pay more attention to my
maybe I need to grow
spirituality.
more.
Yeah, and we
That's
always
how
need
I
to grow,
see
but
it,
to,
like-
to label yourself and to put yourself in a space where to label sick, like even if you are sick,
Yeah.
there's a quote. I believe that John Lennon, someone said this, is like, my grandmother always said, even when you are sick, always say you're healing.
Yeah, like
Because it's like,
always
it's not
room.
about lying. It's not about faking it to make it. I'm not really good at like being one of those people that can fake it to make it.
No.
It's like if
It
I'm
feels
having a shit
empty,
mood, no, I
it's not
can't do
gonna-
it. Some people really, it works for them. Some people will be able to like
All
talk
for them.
themselves into it. I have to be honest with myself. So even if I'm like, if I am like not okay, I'm not gonna be like, you're great, you're awesome. I'm gonna be like, I know it's a lot right now, but you're going to be okay. And then once I start feeling okay, I'm like, okay, you are okay, and you're gonna get better. It's rather than I am so good right now. I can't do
Right.
that. I can't do that.
To
Like
that extreme. But some people can. I feel like it's like whatever works for
whatever
them.
works for you, and there's no judgment. You know, there's
like
no
some
judgment in
things
that.
work for me that probably won't
Work for
you.
somebody else, and it's like. It's like straight up transparency and honesty doesn't always work for other people as well. But like that's literally my love language. The people that I love and value the most in my life are people that are like just very honest, like just say what's on their mind. Like that's my favorite kind of person. It's interesting because even people that it could be. I'm sorry, I had like 4 different thoughts in my head trying to come out at once. I was just like malfunctioning. Takes breath, gets back into the present moment. What is it that I want to speak in this present moment? I feel safe in this present moment. I find that in a lot of circumstances, we can fear the silence in between things, but that's like really where the answers are. So like, even taking a moment on a podcast where, you know, you're supposed to be conversing or like, you know, there's all these supposed to or whatever. Like, I don't really care about any
Be
of that.
entertaining.
You
Like,
just taking a moment. You know, if I in that space, I needed to take a moment, so I took a breath. You know, it's okay to do that. Like, it's okay to do that at any point in life. It's okay to be on stage performing and then have to take a breath because you got really emotional into something. It's okay to be having a conversation with somebody and if something feel off and then you take that breath and you realize like you don't really want to continue the conversation with the person anymore
you
because
saying
it
you
doesn't
want to
feel
talk
good.
to me no more? Oh my god. No. Throwing subs.
No.
Woo.
No, never subs.
Woo.
Just clear, doing my best to be concise truths, not subs. But you know, you never know. You never know how you being in the present is going to be. If you're not in the present, you can't just think about how you're going to be. Oh, I think I'm going to be like this when I do this. I think I'm going to get like that when I do that. Like you can't know if you don't give yourself the permission to just be first.
Like, I remember one of my teachers was just like, there's no time like the present. Like, the present is the perfect time in the world. Like, most people worry about like their future and then they dwell in the past and like it's always a conflict, but like the present is the most important. And like pausing and taking that breath and just like bringing yourself and grounding yourself back.
Yeah.
That was cool. That was cool. I'm like horrible at like being a serious person.
No,
Like,
I think you're doing just fine. I think you should give yourself credit for the who you are and what you are, you know?
but sometimes that's like what I like about me. Like sometimes I just like say random things and like give word vomit and like all this weird stuff, and people are just like, what is this? I'm just like, no, that's what I like about myself. And
I
then
love that about you.
sometimes, yeah, some people are like, yeah.
Because the thing is like it's beyond it's beyond just random stuff, and it's beyond just like evading. You say things that people live their entire life afraid to say to themselves, nonetheless to other people. And you'll do that in one conversation with somebody, and that takes a lot of courage. So definitely give yourself credit for that. You're not just an entertaining person, you're a depthful person.
I don't try to be. Imagine having conversations with myself, like, like just put a device in my head. Like, no, then, someone might get that information what's in my head. And like, we're not saying anything on live air about, they might be listening.
The big G.
Yeah.
The big G.
I was thinking that, but I didn't want to,
I know,
give it away.
like, I almost said it 3 times. I'm like, we know better, but wait, if you think
I'm sitting here, like, looking at like, wow, there's a lot of technology around here.
Turns camera off.
Yeah, right? Like,
puts on airplane mode. They know too much. Yeah, man, well, yeah, so.
Let's not do that plan. I'm going to they'll pick up, like, my Wi-Fi or my Bluetooth from it, and that's it. They'll be like, wow, she's an interesting person.
That's the thing. I like to think that my FBI agent or whatever they're called or whatever they are that like monitor our phones, I like to think that he's very entertained with the life that I live, and that
Gotta be.
whoever is assigned to me, you're welcome. You're welcome for the experience. And is there anything else that you wanted to get into before we wrap this up for today?
No, I feel like I just winged the whole hour, and that was like perfect the way it is.
Yeah.
And like it is supposed to be what it is.
Yeah. And it's I feel like it was, a certain surrender. I feel like I always I'll always be like, all right, well, I need to have at least one topic or something where we go, and like this is the first time I've really surrendered. It was back and forth, because when I had other podcasts, we'd always have a topic and we'd branch from there, and where it would be a little bit planned, it was just like too much, or it'd be nothing at all. It would be nothing at all most of the time. We'd have nothing, and then we'd go and then we'd title it after the fact. But now that I do it live, I've been like, all right, well, what's the topic so I could title it? And this time it's just like to surrender to not titling it. What happened was.
That was
that was the title for this episode.
I don't know. I feel like even with one topic for talking for an hour, how much can one person talk about that? I can't talk about.
Oh yeah, it's like usually just like
me.
the centerpiece, and then it's like it goes into the different things. But yeah, I enjoyed the fact of the surrender of what today was and what yesterday was and the day before was. Even just like, I was thinking about you, and then I called you, and I was like, you want to do it? And you're like, yeah.
Sure. Let me check my emails.
Let me be a responsible adult and just make sure I'm not assigned to anything else within this day in this time period.
Meanwhile, I have plenty of free time.
Well, it was good. It's good. I'm really grateful that you came on to here. And before we go,
thank you for having me.
Of course. And before we go, I'm going to open up this book to a quote to see whatever it is that we are supposed to hear today to carry with us throughout our day or night, whenever you're listening to it. Who are you trying to impress? Some people worry so much about what others think of them that they change what they have to say to please someone else. It is hurtful, I know. But you have to make peace with the fact that there is a choice to be two-faced. But you have to make peace with the fact that their choice to be two-faced is their choice, not yours. We tend to put value on those who try to impress simply because someone out there wants to impress them. But that's how power works. Think about it this way, though. If someone isn't impressed by the truth, are they worthy of being impressed? If someone isn't impressed by the truth, are they worthy of your time, effort, and energy? Are they worthy of you trying to prove yourself to them? Are they worthy of your mental space? No, they are not. Those that are worthy are those who matter. And those who matter, you don't have to prove yourself to them. They see right through you. They see your truth. They see your authenticity. Those are the ones worthy of being held onto, because you don't have to try to impress them. You already do by being who you are.
Damn, that was deep. That was
That
like
was
on
so
point.
beautiful.
That's so
That
you.
was so you.
Why are we doing this
I don't
voice?
know.
All right,
We just do
back to
things.
business.
Oh man, I'm like,
Like, before
is
you
it?
start hysterically laughing in your face, I'm like, all right, whatever.
You know, you're welcome to anyone who has gotten the honor and pleasure to hear one of me and Nikki's conversation. Ging, ging. But it's like, you know, we were saying yesterday, because we were essentially having a podcast before this podcast, because every single one of our conversations are just really
Random.
and entertaining.
Like there's no prediction.
We unpack like deep truths hysterically. And then we'll have moments of like grounding where we're like, all right, let's like, this is serious.
Let's be serious. Like sometimes we'll
And
be
then we're like,
joking, and then it digs into something like deep.
That's what always happens. I feel like we'll be like, oh yeah, oh this, oh yeah, you know how
We'll
my
joke
codependency
about
works. So you know,
Like, so, for a little disclosure, I was gonna go to a codependency anonymous.
Oh
and
man.
I didn't go because my friend wouldn't go with me.
Oh wow. Wait, that's real.
That's real.
Wow.
That's real. I don't know if I'm supposed to like broadcast that. It's a thing. I don't know. I don't go
That's
to
so
it.
crazy.
But
Well, I was like, which one? I was like, I thought we talked about that mad long ago at
Yeah.
Zen. I didn't think that was real.
No, it is. It's real. There's one on Staten Island,
Really?
but for a codependent group, I wouldn't go alone, and that's why I didn't go. Like, I never went. My friend was like, "No, I'm not."
Why didn't you hit me up? I don't understand.
Like, how
I'm offended,
codependent
highly.
is that?
I'm like, yeah, no,
Can't even go to like a codependency help group. Like,
no, that's hysterical.
alone. It's probably like a thing. They always probably like bring friends on the first go around. Like,
I mean, naturally.
like
No, that's great. That's great.
it's probably a common thing.
It's probably the most common thing that happens there.
Yeah.
It's like,
I feel like
it's like brings whole family, brings
Yeah.
all groups of friends. Like, no, it's
Yeah,
definitely
I feel like it's a thing. They're very understanding.
Yeah.
Probably.
without a doubt. Yeah. Well, thanks for that.
Everything.
Yeah. Well, we can't see ourselves, but thank you to everyone who
Look
tuned
at our
in.
matching.
We're matching. You're
Beautiful.
welcome.
Beautiful.
Thank you for having an inside look on what our conversations consist of, on the basis on which they do. Oh God. All right, cool. Have a great day.
Have a good day.
And thanks for listening. See you next week.